Let me ask you a question right now. Right here, when did you stop feeling alive? When did the fire in your soul turn into smoke? Was it the day life knocked you down and you stayed there, or was it more subtle? One quiet compromise at a time. One silent, I guess this is it. One missed opportunity that you never chased again. You see, every one of us is born with a spark, a hunger, a desire to live fully, love deeply, create freely, and to do something that matters. But somewhere along the way between obligations, disappointments, bills, betrayals, broken promises, and self-doubt, we begin to dim that fire, we settle, we shrink to fit in, we trade passion for security, and then one day we look in the mirror and ask, what happened to me? But here's the truth, that spark is still inside you. Maybe it's buried under years of pain, fear, or failure, but it didn't die. It just fell asleep. And your job right now is simple. Wake it up. You don't need permission. You don't need to wait until everything's perfect. You don't need more time. You need to make a decision. A decision to rise, to recommit, and to reconnect to the most powerful version of yourself. The spark is reignited when you remember who the hell you are. Not what society told you to be. Not what your failures tried to define. Not what your past says about your worth. I'm talking about that original you. The one who had wild dreams and didn't care what anyone thought. The one who danced without music. The one who believed that everything was possible. And guess what? That version of you still exists. It's not too late. It's never too late. You're not too old. You're not too broken. You're not too far gone. You're one decision away from changing the entire trajectory of your life. But it starts with truth. No more sugarcoating. No more blame. No more waiting. If you want to feel alive again, you must get brutally honest with yourself. What are you pretending not to know? What excuses are you using to stay stuck? Who are you trying to please by staying small? Let me tell you this. Your destiny is not found in your comfort zone. It's found in the chaos. In the uncertainty, in the stretch. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying. So stop running from the pain. Face it, pain is not the enemy, it's the spark. Pain is a message from your soul that you're meant for more. It's not punishing you, it's pushing you, your heartbreak, a wake-up call, your setbacks, a classroom, your fear, a compass. Don't wait for life to calm down. Don't wait for the timing to be perfect. Don't wait for the fear to disappear. Move anyway, do it afraid, start messy, reignite the spark by choosing progress over perfection. You don't need to see the whole path. Just take the next step. Make the call, apply for the job, say I love you, launch the business, forgive yourself. The moment you move with faith, life moves with you. People will ask, how did you do it? And your answer will be simple, I stopped waiting and I started living. Energy doesn't come from sleep or food alone. It comes from purpose, from movement, from momentum. The reason you're tired isn't because you're doing too much, it's because you're doing too little of what sets your soul on fire. So stop dimming your light to make others comfortable. Stop apologizing for wanting more. Stop settling for a version of life that doesn't inspire you. You were not born to play small. You were not born to survive. You were born to create, to lead, to ignite others with your fire. But you can't light others if your flame is gone, so here's your invitation. Reignite it. Right now, right here, this moment, commit to your greatness. Make this the turning point, not tomorrow, not next Monday, now. Your future is waiting. The world is waiting. That book, write it. That body, build it. That dream, chase it. That pain, heal it. Do not waste another day pretending you're powerless. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not the labels they gave you. You are powerful beyond measure. And it's time you remembered. Let the fire come back. Let it roar. Let it burn. Away every excuse, every doubt, every limitation you've carried. Because when the fire inside you burns brighter than the fire around you, nothing can stop you. So stand tall, speak loud, live bold. You have something to say, something to give, something to create, something that matters. Let today be the day you rise. Let today be the day you stop existing and start living. Let today be the day you reignite the spark. Because the world doesn't need more sleepwalkers. It needs you awake, alive, and on fire. Your spark never died. It just fell asleep. Somewhere along the journey of your life, you were vibrant, full of energy, curiosity, and the hunger to chase everything that excited your soul. As a child, you didn't ask for permission to dream, you just did. You didn't hesitate to express yourself, to play, to fall, to try again. That inner light, that fire, was always there. It made you unique, it made you bold, it made you unstoppable. But as time passed, things changed. Responsibilities grew. Expectations were piled on your shoulders. Somewhere between the noise of what you should be and what life demanded of you, you started dimming that light, not because you wanted to, but because the world taught you to. Maybe someone told you your dreams were unrealistic. Maybe you tried and failure made you doubt everything. Maybe life hit you with disappointment after disappointment, and each hit made you a little more cautious, a little more hesitant, a little more distant from that burning spark inside you. But here's the truth. It never went away. It never disappeared. It simply went quiet. It's there, buried under the weight of old stories and past pain. It's not gone. It's waiting, waiting for a moment of courage, waiting for you to stop living on autopilot, waiting for you to remember what it feels like to come alive, and deep down you know it. You feel it in those rare moments of clarity, when you watch someone doing what they love and something inside you whispers, "I want that." When you catch yourself daydreaming and your heart beats just a little faster, when you're alone and the silence is so loud that it starts asking you uncomfortable questions, those are not coincidences. That is your spark trying to speak to you again, trying to remind you of who you were before the world told you who to be. It wants to be reignited, and it doesn't care how long it's been. It doesn't care how old you are. It doesn't care how many times you've been knocked down. All it cares about is truth, and the truth is that version of you, the one who felt limitless, is not a memory. It's still inside you, fighting to rise. You don't need a complete transformation to reconnect to your spark. You need honesty. You need to be willing to feel again, to want again, to believe again. You have to stop numbing yourself with distractions, with doubt, with the belief that this is all there is. That spark isn't found in the perfect plan or the perfect moment. It's found in motion, in trying, in stepping forward even when you're scared. You don't reignite it by thinking about it. You do it by acting on it. Even a small act, done with intention, can fan the flames. And once it starts to burn, everything begins to change. Your energy shifts. Your mindset sharpens. Your passion starts pouring into everything you do. People around you can feel it. Life starts responding differently because you're showing up differently. You begin to remember what it feels like to be alive, not just to exist, but to live with purpose, with fire, with conviction. The beauty is that it was never lost. You didn't need to find it. You just needed to uncover it. Peel back the layers of doubt, of fear, of pretending. Every dream you buried, every talent you silenced, every desire you ignored, they are all embers waiting to be reignited. And the moment you choose to look inward, to stop making excuses, and to take responsibility for your fire, everything begins to shift. You're one decision away from a completely different life. It doesn't take a decade to change everything. It doesn't require perfection, unlimited resources, or waiting for the stars to align. It takes one bold, clear, committed decision. One moment where you finally say, "No more," or "Let's go," or "I'm ready." That single point in time can become the line that divides your past from your future, and often it doesn't look dramatic on the outside. It may not come with fanfare or fireworks. It may happen in silence, in the middle of a regular day, when something inside you finally clicks, when you stop bargaining with your fears and start negotiating with your potential. When you realize that staying the same is more painful than changing. Every major transformation begins with a decision, a choice to turn the page, a choice to walk away from what no longer serves you, a choice to start even if you're unsure, even if you're scared, even if you don't have it all figured out. That one decision has the power to rewire your thoughts, redirect your actions, and reshape the trajectory of your life. Most people underestimate the power of choice. They wait for signs, they wait for motivation, they wait for someone to show up and push them forward. But life doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards commitment. It rewards those who move, who trust, who say yes when everything in them is screaming, "Stay safe." There's always a moment in life where you're standing at the edge. You see the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And in that moment, the voice of doubt will try to keep you small. It will remind you of your past. It will highlight your weaknesses. It will invent reasons to stall. But the voice of truth, the voice that comes from your core, will say, "Jump." It doesn't promise it will be easy. It doesn't guarantee instant results, but it does guarantee change, because decisions create direction, and direction creates destiny. You don't have to know how the whole journey unfolds. You just need to take the first step. The bridge between dreams and reality is built through decisions backed by action, not someday, not when everything feels right, right now, this moment. It might be a decision to forgive, to let go of the past you've been carrying like armor. It might be a decision to start that project you've been postponing for years. It might be a decision to walk away from people who drain your energy and keep you stuck. It might be a decision to believe in yourself again. That decision, no matter how small it looks from the outside, becomes the spark that changes your internal state. And once your internal state shifts, the external world begins to move with it. Energy attracts energy. Certainty creates results. The moment you decide who you're going to be, your actions begin to align. Your standards rise. Your clarity sharpens. You stop entertaining things that don't match the future you're building. That single decision becomes a filter, a compass, a boundary line. So many people spend their lives one decision away from peace, one decision away from purpose, one decision away from stepping into their power. They wait for permission that will never come. They seek certainty in a world that is built on change. But those who live fully are the ones who understand that clarity follows action, not the other way around. You must decide and then build your confidence in motion. The truth is, you've always had the ability to pivot, to evolve, to begin again. It was never about time or talent. It was about choosing one decision, one moment of courage, 1 second of choosing faith over fear. That's where everything begins. Comfort kills ambition. Growth begins where excuses end. The moment you prioritize comfort over challenge, you begin to trade potential for safety. Comfort seduces you with the illusion of peace, but underneath it lies stagnation. It convinces you that good enough is acceptable, that playing it safe is smart, that taking risks is dangerous. And yet every person who has ever achieved anything extraordinary has done so by stepping beyond the familiar, by rejecting the voice that says stay here, stay small, stay quiet. Ambition doesn't survive in comfort. It suffocates, it starves, because ambition needs hunger, movement, resistance. It feeds off the fire that comes from being stretched, challenged, and uncomfortable. Every excuse you make is a brick in the wall between who you are and who you're meant to be. You may not realize it in the moment, but the phrases "I'm not ready," "it's not the right time," "what if I fail," are all just ways to delay the discomfort of growth. The truth is, the perfect time doesn't exist. The stars won't align. There will always be noise, distractions, doubt. Growth happens when you decide that the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. It begins when you stop waiting and start doing, when you take full ownership of your life and stop outsourcing your power to fear, doubt, or circumstance. Think about it every break through you've ever had started with some level of discomfort. The hard conversations, the new beginnings, the uncertain steps, that feeling in your gut when you know you're about to do something that matters, something that scares you because it will change you. That's the edge of your growth zone. That's where you find out who you really are. That's where the next version of you is waiting, and yet most people turn back. They retreat to what's easy, to what's familiar. But familiarity is not freedom. It's just a cage with softer walls. Growth isn't supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to stretch you, to challenge your patterns, to break your limiting beliefs. The moment you stop making excuses, you start making progress. You don't need a master plan. You need movement. You don't need approval. You need courage. You don't need to eliminate all fear. You need to act despite it. Excuses are justifications for staying average. They may sound logical, even rational, but they are built on fear, not truth. And the longer you repeat them, the more they become your reality. But the moment you own your choices, everything begins to change. You stop blaming the economy, your past, other people, or bad timing. You start asking better questions. What can I control? What's the next small step I can take? Who do I need to become to achieve what I desire? That shift from excuse to ownership is the birthplace of power. Suddenly, you are no longer waiting. You are building. You are not drifting. You are directing. It doesn't mean you'll never face setbacks. It means you'll face them with resilience. It means failure becomes feedback, not a finish line. It means discomfort becomes a signal that you're moving in the right direction. You begin to associate growth with power, not pain, because you've realized that staying the same is far more painful in the long run. The life you want, the goals you dream about, the version of you that's capable of leading, building, inspiring. That version only emerges when you are willing to let go of what's easy and step into what's necessary. You grow the moment you stop letting excuses speak louder than your vision. Pain isn't punishment. It's your soul pushing for more. Pain shows up not to break you, but to wake you. It's not here to hold you back. It's here to pull something greater out of you. Pain is the body's way of signaling that something needs your attention. Emotional pain does the same. It reveals the gaps between where you are and where you're meant to be. Most people run from pain, numb it, bury it, pretend it isn't there. But pain ignored doesn't disappear, it multiplies. It spreads into your relationships, your energy, your confidence, your choices. And before you know it, you're not just carrying pain, you're building your identity around it. But there's another way to see it. What if the pain you feel is actually a sign that your life is out of alignment, that you're tolerating things your heart is no longer willing to accept, that the story you've been telling yourself is no longer true? Pain can be a powerful teacher when you choose to lean into it. It's not the enemy, it's a message, a signal that growth is available, that transformation is possible, that something deeper inside of you is asking for a shift. It's the part of you that still believes, that still hopes, that still knows there's more to you than what you're currently living. The problem isn't pain itself, it's how we respond to it. We label it as weakness. We see it as failure, but pain is neither. Pain is a call to evolve. It's an invitation to rise. When your soul wants to grow and your habits don't match your potential, pain is what brings the two into conflict. And that friction is not meant to destroy you. It's meant to wake you up. Every time you've been hurt, disappointed, heartbroken, it carved something inside of you, not just scars, but space for wisdom, space for strength, space for compassion, for clarity, for purpose. But you only discover that when you stop numbing it and start listening. Sometimes the pain is loud because it's the only thing that can break through the noise. It strips away the surface and gets to the truth. It forces you to slow down, to reevaluate, to ask better questions. What do I really want? Who am I becoming? What is no longer acceptable in my life? Pain has a way of exposing what matters and what doesn't. It shakes your soul to the core and asks you to rebuild on something real. That rebuilding process isn't easy, but it's sacred. It's where identity is formed. It's where real strength is forged. Strength isn't pretending everything's okay. It's feeling the pain and still choosing to move. It's using your wounds as fuel, not a cage. It's saying, this hurt me, but it didn't finish me. You're allowed to feel the weight of it. You're allowed to cry, to break, to pause, but then you get to choose what comes next. Pain might have been the thing that cracked you open, but what you do with that opening is entirely up to you. You can fill it with anger, resentment, regret, or you can fill it with growth, perspective, purpose. People who have been through pain carry something different, a depth, a fire, a wisdom you can't fake. Not because pain made them better, but because they chose to become better through it. They allowed it to shape them, not shrink them. They looked it in the eye and said, "Teach me." They didn't let the pain define them. They let it refine them, because on the other side of pain isn't just healing, it's power, the power to feel deeply, to love without fear, to live without apology. That power doesn't come from avoiding the fire. It comes from walking through it and realizing you are still standing. When your inner fire burns brighter than your fear, nothing can stop you. Fear is natural. It's hardwired into your biology to protect you, to keep you alert, to warn you of danger. But most of the fears we carry aren't about survival. They're about rejection, judgment, failure, not being enough. These fears don't protect your life, they paralyze your potential. They keep you stuck in comfort zones disguised as logic. They whisper that it's safer to stay quiet, safer to delay, safer to shrink. And the more you listen, the more you disconnect from the fire inside, the fire that was never meant to be silenced. That fire is your truth. It's your purpose, your desire, your gift to the world. It's the thing that makes you feel most alive, most aligned, most free. But fire cannot coexist with fear that is given power. One will always lead, and until your fire burns brighter, your fear will decide your actions, your words, your future. The shift begins when you stop waiting for fear to go away. Fear doesn't disappear, but fire can burn through it. Your inner fire doesn't need ideal circumstances. It needs commitment. It needs a decision, a choice to stop living a life based on what could go wrong and start living based on what could go right. The people who break through limits, the ones who rise, lead, and create impact, they don't operate without fear. They act in spite of it. They move because their vision is louder than their doubt. Their fire isn't always obvious, but it's relentless. It pushes them to keep showing up, keep trying, keep believing. They have setbacks, they face criticism, they question themselves. But they don't quit, because something inside of them is stronger than the fear outside of them. And that's not luck or talent. It's a decision made over and over again, to feed the fire, not the fear. You build that fire by doing the things that align with your highest self, by keeping promises to yourself, by taking actions that move you closer to the life you were meant to live. Every small win adds fuel. Every brave choice, every honest conversation, every step into the unknown, these are sparks. Over time, they become flames. And as that flame grows, your fear begins to shrink, not because it leaves, but because it can no longer control you. You start choosing faith over doubt, movement over hesitation, truth over silence. There's something magnetic about people who are connected to that fire. They radiate energy. They inspire without trying, not because they have no fear, but because they've made peace with it. They've decided that fear may ride along, but it doesn't get to drive. Their passion leads, their vision leads, their why leads, and when your why is strong enough, your fear becomes powerless. The fire becomes your compass. It tells you what matters. It keeps you honest. It keeps you going. You don't need to have all the answers to light that fire. You need to say yes to it. You need to stop pretending you're okay with small. You need to stop negotiating with fear like it's your protector. Fear is clever, but it's a liar. It's the loud voice that shows up when you're on the edge of transformation, and the louder it gets, the closer you are. That's when you double down on your fire. That's when you dig into your strength, your reason, your desire. Because if that fire inside of you burns just a little brighter than the fear around you, you will move, you will rise, you will speak, you will build, you will live.